You are the one. You are the curse breaker. You are the generational curse breaker. Understand that the people who will benefit from you breaking the curse are going to be the same people that try to break you. Listen, God is not pleased with the people that have come into your life and have tried to instill self-consciousness about your goal, make you self-conscious about who you are, about your talents that God has given you. The gifts that you have are so important for this earth. This is why God is not pleased with that. Listen, first of all, God hates a liar, right? So anybody telling you that you aren't amazing, you aren't magical, that's a liar. And the devil is a liar. Anybody that try to make you feel like you are not gifted, you are not worthy of going towards the things you want to go for. But we're going to get into it in this video. See, I be preaching. Listen, I be preaching, but I'm trying to talk to you. Listen, what would the world be without Mary J. Blige telling her story and helping so many generations of women, right, heal and just not be ashamed to share their stories of abuse? You are God's plan. Your destiny, your dream is not your dream. It's God's dream, right? So God will not be mocked. God will not be mocked, and that's why your destiny, your dream will be fulfilled. Listen, but understand that you have to be aware of the enemy's tactics to understand why would somebody try to attack your self-belief, right? Why would somebody want to keep you from believing in yourself? So you need to understand the enemy's tactic, because in your art, right, in your performances, if you're in theater, if you're a writer and you're writing, just to have a better understanding of the human experience, right, and the strength of the human spirit, okay? You may have looked up and realized that you are the black sheep. You are the family member that doesn't come around, right? You probably seen those when you was a child. You were like, why I feel like nobody know that cousin or that aunt or that uncle that doesn't come around, right? And then you get older and then you realize that what you've been dealing with and the family is a part of a pattern. So the person that actually escaped literally may have been running from something, or they may have looked at that family dynamic and said, this doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for the family I'm trying to bring into this world. These people are not going to be able to help me get to the next level of where I'm trying to be, right? So those are actually some people with sense. And even in a job, right, they'll get you in there and they'll tell you about how they value uniqueness, they value creativity. And then you realize that they have a high turnover, and the people that do stay there for a long time, they are the people that their spirits are broken from literally working this job. But they can't leave because they, first of all, maybe they don't have the courage. Maybe they really brought into that someday it's going to work out better. Or some people just don't move because they comfortable. And you don't want to be that. But you will look up and you will realize that you've been separated from so much crap. You've been separated from so many toxic people, right? That's divine direction. That's divine redirection. That is divine protection. So on this here channel, I share my music. I share my learning process, but I have to start talking to people about what allows me to still be creative. I have to show people what it is that's in me and not just what's on me, okay? Because a lot of people can just see me as like this teacher and I teach music, but no, it's so much work internally that I have to do to propel, right? To propel, to prosper, amen? So I want to start talking to people about that. I can't just be on here making videos and like a lot of God's children, yeah, they need to know that they're not alone. God has a lot of creative children, right? And even if you're not spiritual, you can benefit from this wisdom. I mean, you are spiritual, listen. But even if you're not, like, you just don't use the term God and things like that, you can benefit. This is not, you know, just some over-religious things, because I've been in seasons like that where I just didn't believe anything out there was helping me, okay? So trust me, I'm for you. I'm for you. If you found this, it's for you. Amen. When you have been chosen to be the artist in the family, that is a job of light. That is a job of joy. That is saying that this family needs some color. This family needs somebody that, you know, has a relationship with life that isn't rooted in fear, that's rooted in joy, that's rooted in bringing people together, right? You are the one. You are the one. Listen, you are the one. It's no coincidence. Like, don't downplay that you are creative. Don't downplay that you are an artist, right? Everybody is not an artist, okay? But everything has an art to it, right? You could have been a carpenter, right? There's an art to carpentry, but you get what I'm saying? Like, God could have made you anything. God needed to use you as a vessel in this area, right? So I want to get to the attacks, though. I be talking too much. You will notice that you don't stay in negative spaces for long. It'll be something that comes along to where you just got to get going. You got to remove yourself, or maybe if you stay too long, something will happen for you to have moved. Right? You don't stay in toxic relationships long. You don't hold on, like your friends that are negative, people that you may have been in friendships with, if they were negative, if they were like trying to be a dream killer, if they said little, snarky stuff about what you're trying to do in this world, you'll notice that those friendships won't last, especially when you start understanding who you are and what you're doing, and you really walking into what you're doing. Those people, those situations are not going to last, and you are not going to last in those environments. If you do, your spirit will be absolutely broken, right? Your purpose will be absolutely crushed if you stay in those environments. You are God's investments. Everything you do is like your steps have been ordered. You've dealt with people that have tried to come up against your destiny since a child, right? And it's no coincidence. Why would they try to get you to think that you're not talented? Why? Because you are. Not even because you have potential, you got it. People will try to stop you because they want to stop the truth from coming into this world. Listen, when you are successful, when the artist becomes successful, the artist's voice is now one that people listens to. Now a voice that helps to guide people, right? So some people will try to block you from being a person that speaks the truth. Another reason they'll do it is also because they think they know somebody that's more deserving than you are, or somebody that is more submissive to them and don't question them, right? Your dream, the dream that you have, is God's dream. And even outside of the music, when the artists, like I said, when they get a chance to be successful and they get the audience and the people that will listen to them, right, they end up doing even more work for humanity. Because I know Mary J. Blige, she was talking about her personal life and what she overcame in her childhood. And so she shows so many people that they are not alone. A lot of creative people end up being the black sheep. And it's only because you took the more non-conventional path. You took the road less traveled. There may not be a lot of people in your family that chose to be an artist, right? Or maybe you don't come from a family of musicians. Maybe nobody was a musician and you're the first one. Maybe you're the first one that can paint or can draw. Maybe you're the first one that writes and write books. So you really don't have that many people to look to anyway and to guide you. And because a lot of people haven't seen anyone like you before, they don't know how to support you. They don't know how to show up for you, right? They don't know how to encourage you. So they just put you down. Art negates these negative messages that come from people to people. But since you were a child, you had that light over you. I'm telling you, right? I know you saw it. Like, people even told you, maybe other children have told you, like, you're going to be this when you grow up, right? Some people tell you straight up, like, you're going to be a star when you grow up. They don't know how to say you're a star, right? Other kids, but they'll tell you, you're going to be famous when you grow up because of this. Like, they just speak so much positivity over you because they see that. I want to say this first. God will not be mocked. Your dream is going to come into fruition because that's God's plan, right? Even if it wasn't your plan, God is going to use you to show people that he exists, that God is real, right? That God is real, that love is real, that love prevails, that good prevails. And so your story is just another piece on a quilt. It has to happen. But I want to talk about separation first before elevation. So a lot of artists, to be even creative, there's a certain level of isolation that has to take place. You have to draw the pictures in your own atmosphere. You have to set your own atmosphere. Everybody can't be in there and they'll be distracting, right? Too much motion going around you. So the artist, even a child artist, understands early that it's not even really isolation, it's focus, right? So I want to use the word focus, but we're going to say isolation too. Isolation, solitude, but when I think of solitude, I think of intentional time spent away from people and things in order to gather your spirit, your thoughts, and to be with God if you're spiritual. So when you practicing piano or when you drawing the pictures and when you doing the sketches and things like that, you can't be around a lot of people, right? You have to be in the confinement of your room or on a porch by yourself or in the backyard or at the library or whatever, right? So God was already preparing you through your gift and through honing that gift, how to be able to stand firm in your energy and your purpose, for you to know that when I go into this time and this space to practice, to rehearse, to study, I have to have a certain level of focus. I have to have a certain environment where everybody cannot be in here, right? When I'm making music, I can't have people around because they're going to be making noise, right? Or they're going to be trying to talk to me or speak to me, right? So now when you get older, right, when you're going for the dream, you're able to know that I'm able to stand on my own and be away from anything that doesn't serve me and my progression. A lot of negative things won't last for you, right? That's on purpose. You will look up and you'll realize, like, dang, everybody negative, they don't really come around me. They don't feel comfortable to come around me. And you don't feel comfortable going around them, so you don't, right? And when you got a gift, let me tell you this. When you have a gift, when you are gifted, you will experience more betrayal because people don't believe that you hurt. People don't believe that you have feelings because they see you as such a star. And even when you don't see yourself as that, people really think that you can handle pain more than the next person. You don't experience this, so they can do these things to you. It's like they almost see you as a subhuman. So understand you can't be around everybody. Your destiny is written on you. Sometimes, even at work, you don't tell people that you do anything out of work. They will just get so nosy and start trying to see what you do in your personal life because it's on you, right? Even when you're there just to work, like, even if you had called yourself giving up on something to dream, it's people that still gonna ask, what do you do? Like, you look like you just do something important. You look like you look creative. Part of that was to show people, like, yeah, I can walk the straight path. But God doesn't want that, so he be knocking all that stuff down for me. Yes, I did finish college, amen. This woman told me that even if I wanted to, she was a table, I never met her. Beautiful spirit. And she told me that even if I wanted to, I couldn't hire you to work an office job. Right? I couldn't say nothing because she was right, and I was just wondering, how did she know that? Like, I was dressed in the proper work attire. We had to wear certain shirts. I wasn't outwardly expressing myself as an artist, right? It's who you are. It's your identity. So people saw that on you. So I said it to say that people see your gift. So understand when you're coming up against people that are like trying to instill doubt in you, feel like they can overly criticize you for some reason and they don't have much to say about the next person. It's because they're trying to make you self-conscious. They're trying to make you doubt yourself because they don't believe in themselves. They want your dreams to die because theirs ain't living. But you got to understand that God is not pleased because you are his dream. God said, I knew you before you were in the womb. I created you. Another verse said that I have plans for you, big plans to prosper you, right? That's for the believers. So if you believe in yourself in any way, like, understand that this is the goodness of what you're supposed to inherit. People have tried to dim your light because they can only produce darkness, and they're jealous. They're mad when they see a person that's just naturally, that's real and just authentic and just have that vulnerability. When you have that level of vulnerability, you have the power to impact people. That's part of the gift. And some people will try to stop that because they like, dang, like, if I can't do it, they shouldn't be allowed to do it. They shouldn't be allowed to have it. They shouldn't be in this space where people can celebrate them. So you will come up against people that will withhold support. They are doing that on purpose, right? They'll see you showing effort, showing up for your gift, posting, sharing your work, and they won't support. But you know that they know how to support people. They do support famous people. So it's not you being petty when you notice these things. You have to understand what type of people you are dealing with. So that is very healthy for you to be able to discern who is like not encouraging you, right? Also, so you know who not to help when you do get to where you need to go. And also to know who's not in your community, right? Who's not in your community of people that want to see you do well. Because it's free to support people. It's free to support you. But withholding support is a way to show somebody that I don't want you to think that what you're doing is important. I don't want you to believe that what you're doing is better than what I'm doing. People just do be sick. People do be sick in the head, like, especially when people feel like you come from where they come from, right? You may come from the same family, the same neighborhood. Because you're God's child and God is not pleased with the haters. God is not pleased with the lack of support. God is not pleased with the put downs disguised as constructive criticism, right? So you will notice that these people will not stay around you long. It'll be almost like you don't even like identify with them, like y'all don't have nothing in common. Even if y'all family is like, once you finally understand what you are and who you are and whose you are, it'll be like a spiritual detachment, disconnection. You won't even be able to embrace them because they are not aligned with who you are as a person, right? Spiritually. See, family means they're familiar, but a relative to me means that I gotta relate to you. You not my relative. You may be family, but you just familiar. When God is propelling you, you will be propelling negativity all day, but nobody can stop God's motion. So don't even think that the attacks that people are doing, the reason why God isn't pleased is because they're going against God. They're trying to delay what God wants to bring into this world, right? They showing that they going up against God. They can't delay anything. When it's your time, it's your time. So even if you see like maybe your art or what you're trying to do, maybe you're doing content creation, writing, you'll feel like I've been doing it so long, so many years, I should just give up. But when it's your time, it's your time. So don't give up. But I want to talk about dealing with narcissistic caregivers. So if you ever dealt with a narcissistic caregiver, this means that they not only just ignored your passions, but they didn't care that you had any passions at all. They didn't even care to hear what your dreams were. Right? So if you dealt with that, you know, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Being out in the world and living in your dreams is really another generational curse because you have to do this in spite of not having support. And look at you go. Look at you doing it. But the narcissistic caregiver won't invest in their children's dream. They won't put them in the right classes, get them lessons. They just won't take it serious. They won't show up to their performances. So I want to tell you that God will send destiny helpers. And I've experienced so many destiny helpers, I'm telling you. But I want you to think about a destiny helper. So a destiny helper is a person who comes to support you, to pushing you towards your destiny, to help you fulfill your destiny. So a lot of times a destiny helper will be somebody that'll buy you a notebook if you're a writer. A person that will buy you some crayons when you were a child because they saw that you loved to color and they wanted to contribute to you and your artistic interest. They want to support you in that because they see you as an artist, right? The destiny helper sees you as the star that you are, right? And destiny helpers come as teachers. Destiny helpers come as somebody that may be in your spiritual community, like in the church. Or destiny helper can be somebody that's a friend of the family. They're the only person that maybe they gave you a hand-me-down guitar or something like that. But I'm telling you, pay attention to the destiny helper. So the destiny helper doesn't stay around long either, because I believe that they are some type of earth angel, even though of course they're people like us, but they are on a mission themselves and they have to go help other people on their mission. So they may have not stayed around long, but those are the people that spoke life into you and encouraged you. I read Jada Pickett's book. One thing about her and Tupac's friendship is that they were both each other's destiny helper. They both came from Baltimore. Jada Pickett, when she was a teenager, Tupac always seen her as a performer. He always seen her as an artist. They wasn't famous. They were poor too. They were poor. Their parents were dealt with substance abuse, but Jada Pickett always seen Tupac as this prolific artist, right? They treated each other as such, even before they accomplished those dreams. So that's a destiny helper. A destiny helper only sees you in I call it your anointing. A destiny helper sees you in your anointing. A destiny helper sees you in your life. They see you as just as important as Picasso if you paint, right? They see you as that, nothing less. So God is going to keep blessing you. They're going to come and God is going to put you in a position to be a destiny helper. In the journey, this is how you know you on the right path. This is how you know that you got to keep going with your dream. When there's a will, there's a way. I may have not had, parents that put me in choirs or bought me the instruments, right? I'm telling you, all of the instruments that I had, like you can see on my YouTube channel, my loopers, my guitars, I never paid for them. Like people will always give me stuff. Like people will always give me instruments, microphones, like so many things. They really believed in what I was doing, but they also knew that they was giving it to somebody that this was important for their calling. So I'm telling you that I know this has happened to you. Like it could be something even like if you're into content creation, like your video just did so well and it's like I didn't even have the right lighting, or I wasn't even looking my best. I didn't even say everything I wanted to say, but somehow that video found its way to people that found you, that want to support you. So when there's a will, there is a way. So that's why you got to stay on wheels and keep that drive and stay, in the will of God. And you know what, y'all, I really don't even like to get preachy, but it's just something I really have to encourage the creative people and the artists because that is a part of God's body. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of spiritual content and things like that, but I don't see too many people talking about dealing with dream killers and the impact that it has on your self-esteem. And I want to talk about that. So when you have dealt with dream killers, you will struggle believing in yourself. You will struggle going for your dream. You will struggle believing that things can happen for you, that you can succeed. That's something that needs to be worked on inside of you. It's not your fault, but it's so important that you address those things and see what wounds have been left by the jokes and things like that people made when you try. Maybe they try to embarrass you or humiliate you when you try to share your gift, or maybe they just flat out ignored you and looked over you. So when you are gifted or you are very interested in an area, right, you can be a part of families or even friend groups that will never acknowledge that, but for some reason they can see everybody else that's doing what you're doing. So they're choosing to treat you like you're invisible. Like that's really a form of mental abuse and psychological warfare. So you have to understand that, and understand that some people are so jealous because you are not afraid to go for it. They are so jealous because you are a person that thinks outside of the mundane. You have faith in your ability, what you can do, what you were born being able to do, or maybe a skill that you taught yourself or something like that. People are not used to being around people that are believers and believers in themselves. The thing about this is you could feel like you are on your journey alone, but you're not, because if you are an artist, you are a leader. So there are people that you are supposed to encourage, inspire, influence, right? Lead out of a place. We are all small shepherds. You know what I mean? So your voice will free so many people, right? But when you don't understand that, and when you try to silence your voice or dim your light, then when you decide to dim your light, the world gets darker, right? A part of the world gets dark. It'll be people that'll try to compare you to people that's already established in a field that you are in when they see you trying to do something, to try to inadvertently say that, no, this is the real deal. You just trying, you just a wannabe. Listen, they will instill that. That's not godly or loving. That's not godly or loving. And so if you still have anybody in your life like that, especially if it's a friend, you can remove them. I know sometimes family is hard to just leave family, especially if you're living with them. But even that, make that your plan to get away, because even in the Bible, a prophet is not accepted in their hometown. What that means is you're not going to be accepted by the people from your environment. And why? Because they don't accept themselves Why? Because they're not probably following a light. So if you have a great family, God bless you. But a lot of us are called to start our own families and our own communities and things like that, or be in a community with more like-minded people. So we deal with these things, you know. But maybe you had a voice teacher that overly criticized you, or tried to, you know, or didn't prioritize your vocal growth or your growth on the football field or on the basketball for your right. Maybe you weren't a kid that was like really popular, or the kid that showed that they came from a certain amount of money, so they didn't invest in you. But you are God's. If you look at your life, you probably see all the times where you just had all the opportunities to just have, you have the opportunity to really hone your craft. You will just have time. Maybe you'll find yourself in classes or whatever. But so when people speak out into you, they're trying to really curse you. Little Mermaid, when she took her voice, and that voice was a thing that allured people. Her voice was a thing that set her apart. Her voice was a very thing that made her really magical. Your gifts are the same as well. Your gifts are what makes you magical. So of course, these Ursulas, they want to stop your voice. They don't want you to be heard. They don't want you to believe that you can make a change. They don't believe that in themselves.